Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ellen. I want to say congratulations to the class of 2024 GLS. Would like a big round of applause for everyone. As Global Liberal Studies students, I'd like to start off today's ceremony with a land acknowledgement. Every community owes its existence and vitality to generations from around the world who contributed to their hopes and labor to making the history that led to this moment. Some were brought here against their will. Some were drawn to leave distant homes in hopes of a better life, and some are indigenous to this land. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. We begin this effort by honoring the truth and paying tribute through a formal land acknowledgement. As we begin this event in Manhattan, we are standing on the ancestral lands of the Lenape people. We pay respect to their elders, past and present. Please take a moment to consider the many legacies of displacement, migration, and settlement that bring us together here today at NYU in New York City. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is John White, and I'm the Associate Dean of Students here in Global Liberal Studies, and we welcome you to today's graduation. I have the distinct honor of introducing our Dean, who will be essentially the Master of Ceremonies for the rest of the program. Julie Mostov joined NYU in August 2017 as the first woman Dean of Liberal Studies, bringing years of experience in global engagement, a deep grounding in the liberal arts, and a commitment to interdisciplinary research and teaching. In addition to her many scholarly achievements, Dr. Mostov spearheaded a wide range of global initiatives and international research and academic partnerships for Drexel University as Senior Vice Provost of Global Initiatives and Professor of Politics, and earlier in her career as Director of International Area Studies and Women's Studies. She's also been a longtime member of the University of Bologna's Network on Europe and the Balkans and a regular visiting professor in its graduate programs. A political theorist by training, Dean Mostov is a well-known scholar on Southeastern Europe. Her research explores notions of soft borders and transnational citizenship and focuses on the politics of national identity, sovereignty, citizenship, and gender. Publications related to these themes include her book, Soft Borders, Rethinking Sovereignty and Democracy, the co-edited volume From Gender to Nation, and book chapters such as Soft Borders and Transnational Citizens, and Our Women, Their Women, Symbolic Boundaries, Territorial Markers, and Violence in the Balkans, as well as thought pieces such as Populism is Always Gendered and Dangerous for Women in Democracy. She's presented her interdisciplinary research with a focus on Southeastern Europe at universities and conferences in many parts of the globe. She served as a consultant for both the United States and the European Union during the breakdown of Yugoslavia, and designed and implemented State Department grants in support of democratic transitions and women's leadership in Eastern Europe and the Balkans. Her earlier scholarship in democratic theory includes such work as Power, Process, and Popular Sovereignty, Endangered Citizenship, and Democracy and the Politics of National Identity. Dean Mostov completed her own bachelor's degree at Mount Holyoke College, a master's degree at the University of Belgrade, and her PhD right here at New York University. In addition to her academic engagement, Dean Mostov has been a longtime activist and advocate for women's rights, serving, among other roles, as chair of the Board of Women Against Abuse, Pennsylvania's largest agency addressing domestic and intimate partner violence. She's the recipient of major awards for her advocacy to end gender-based violence from Women Against Abuse as well as Women's Way. Please join me in welcoming Dean Julie Mostov.
Welcome, everybody. And congratulations to the class of 2024. First, I'd like to give a thanks and a big shout out to all of the families and friends and parents, siblings, partners who are here and who helped all of you make it to this very day, including your faculty and staff, advisors, and so many more. Let's give a big hand to them. You made it. It's been a challenging, exciting, and uncharted journey on the square, abroad, and yes, on Zoom. You've distinguished yourselves by your resilience in the face of adversity, your creativity, your intellectual curiosity, and your passion. Global, interdisciplinary, and engaged. You are scholars, writers, and creatives committed to making our world a better place. You have explored New York City and cities across the NYU Global Network, dug deep into your research areas and creative powers, and shared your findings, inspiration, and more questions with colleagues and teachers. Amidst our celebrations, however, it's important to reflect on the challenges around us, the struggles of many across the globe and in our own communities, in the face of violence, the devastating consequences of war, climate change, and pandemics, and the corrosive impact of inequalities and discriminatory practices. Through your time in GLS, you have deepened your knowledge and understanding, gathering the tools to get at the root of these challenges, to seek collective solutions to them, and to generate lasting change. I am confident that as you take the next steps in your lives, you will continue on this trajectory and contribute to building a world of promise, a world that you hope for in your dreams. Indeed, you have already, each in your own ways, begun to do this. Undaunted by the COVID-19 pandemic at the start of your studies, you've embraced hurdles and roadblocks with optimism and creativity. You've spoken out on critical issues, listened and engaged with ideas different than your own, and searched for innovative solutions to wicked problems. You've learned to question and to expand your horizon, to experiment, to fail, and start again, and to transform the opportunities into generative and impressive outcomes. You have uncovered meaning in complex histories, interrogated entrenched systems of oppression, and explored new technologies. You've proposed original readings, imagined new worlds, and found your own creative platforms. You've struggled through difficult moments and succeeded in going beyond your own expectations, finding strengths, talents, and courage that you didn't know you had. I'm so impressed with the work you have done, your knowledge, insights, creativity, empathy, and humor. It's exciting to think about where your GLS path will take you next. As you do continue your journeys, carry with you the wisdom of your professors and advisors, the laughter you shared with your friends and classmates, the experiences you gained from traveling, completing your theses, and pursuing internships, from following intellectual quests and personal forays into the unknown, and the lessons you have learned from persevering. Please keep your GLS intellectual curiosity, creative passion, and deep concern for others alive. And with all of your enthusiasm and bravery, make the most of the experiences that come your way, and then seek more. Finally, please keep us posted and come back often. Congratulations to all, and my best wishes. Now for you to see a little bit about where the GLS journey can take you, I introduce you to one of our star GLS alumni. Rena Mondani graduated with the class of GLS 2014. She started her own nonprofit, which has garnered so many awards in the city and nationally, right here in the Bronx. Rena has, and I hope you'll look it up, Start Lighthouse. So impressive, the work that she's done in continuing the engaged global and interdisciplinary work of global liberal studies. Rena, please join me here.
As a proud 2014 graduate of Global Liberal Studies, it's an honor to stand before you today. To all the friends, family, and incredible graduates gathered here, thank you for allowing me to be part of this special moment. Reflecting on my journey, I remember the excitement and nerves filling the air as I sat exactly where you are a decade ago. As you embark on this next chapter of your lives, I want to share 3 invaluable lessons from my journey in the real world. Number 1, don't be afraid to take risks. I know this is easier said than done sometimes. We've been conditioned to follow a certain path. Good grades will lead to good education, which will help us secure a higher paying job. I challenged that norm at times, especially for my immigrant parents. When they learned I wouldn't study pre-med or business at NYU, sorry, Mom and Dad. And when I expressed my desire to serve in AmeriCorps after graduation, which I did for 2 years, it raised a few eyebrows. But in March 2020, like everyone around us, I faced an unexpected challenge. I worked full-time as a classroom teacher in the South Bronx when we suddenly got word that schools were closing, but we didn't necessarily know for how long. And to add to the chaos, we didn't have enough tech devices for our students. And then I got a call from a parent. She expressed concern that her child had no books at home and was worried he would fall further behind in his reading. It hit me then that this wasn't just a problem for my student, but a universal issue that we faced. And that's when I decided to co-found my nonprofit organization, Start Lighthouse. We started by getting books, learning materials, resources to schools operating as meal distribution sites during the closures. But when schools reopened, I realized that many had abandoned, defunct library spaces. How could we help kids learn to read or fall in love with reading without access to books? And I decided to pivot once again, transforming these neglected libraries into dynamic literacy hubs. With daily programming tailored to our students' needs, we breathe new life into these spaces, fostering a passion for reading and learning. Now, did I ever think I'd be learning how to flip library spaces? Probably not, but hey, thanks to all those hours of watching HDTV growing up, I was more prepared than I realized. I mean, who knew drywall could be so fascinating? And it was during this time that I found myself stuck between the security of a full-time job and the opportunity to grow Start Lighthouse into what it could be. I told my dad, telling him that I felt like I was living a double life, working odd hours on grant opportunities or through my lunch break for Start Lighthouse. He looked at me and said, "I see how much you love Start Lighthouse. Give yourself a year." See if it can become sustainable, see if you can pay yourself. I hesitated, asking, but what if it doesn't work out? He simply responded, but what if it does? And so with his support, I took a leap of faith. I quit my job, took my savings, and dove into growing Start Lighthouse. That very year, I competed in a pitch competition, something I'd never done before, and won $10,000, the most funding Start Lighthouse had received in 2021. And so I kept going, and 3 years later, we have a full-time staff of 6, health insurance, which is a big milestone, and a wait list of 51 schools across New York City. It was the best decision I made for myself, and it's made me feel more alive than ever before. And so sometimes the greatest rewards come from the biggest risk. Lesson number 2, be empathetic. Being empathetic is crucial in both our personal and professional lives. Whether as a classroom teacher or now as a leader of my own organization, I've come to realize that we're all simply trying to do our best. Each of us has life experiences that shape us, and it's important to acknowledge and respect those differences. Sometimes we forget that we're all human, dealing with our own struggles and challenges. I remember a student of mine during my first year of teaching. Initially, I mistook what seemed like defiance from them as an unwillingness to engage with the material. His struggle to stay awake in class wasn't due to apathy, but because of his living situation. Taking a moment to step back and better understand him made all the difference. We spoke and agreed on meeting during my prep time in the morning so I could provide extra support, and as a result, they became more engaged. Even when the content wasn't the most thrilling, we agreed to meet each other halfway. And a few months later, I called his mom to share the progress I'd seen, and she was genuinely moved. It was the first positive phone call she'd ever received from a teacher. And so when I became a classroom teacher, it took time to build relationships with my students to earn their trust and respect. It didn't happen overnight. And so it's easy to make assumptions and pass judgment, but understanding their stories allowed me to be a better teacher and to meet them where they needed me to be. Lesson number 3, keep an open mind and say yes. Say yes to everything. Well, not everything, but when you're in your 20s, yes plays an important role in helping you figure out what works. Saying yes lets you test and experiment broadly, and you just never know where that yes will lead you. During my freshman year of NYU, I said yes to grabbing dinner at Upstein with a girl named Brittany, whom I didn't know too well, on my floor. That girl ended up becoming one of my best friends, and during the pandemic, we worked together to co-found Start Lighthouse. I got my first job teaching from a networking event that I attended where I didn't know anyone in the room. And so walking into a room full of unfamiliar faces can be nerve-wracking, and it always still is. A few years ago, I said yes to a Wednesday night dinner date, and this September, we're getting married. You never know. And so saying yes might end up being a story that you just share at parties. It might lead to your next job offer, and it might even lead you to finding the love of your life. And so to all of you embarking on your journeys, remember this: your 20s are all about figuring things out. So embrace the ups and downs and never doubt your potential. Believe in yourself, surround yourself with good people, and don't be afraid to take risk. After all, you never know where they might lead you. And now I look around this room and I see so much potential and passion. The work you've all done during your years in GLS is truly inspiring. You've learned to question the status quo, to challenge the norms, and to strive for something better. After all, that's what we need in the world today. People like you who aren't afraid to speak out against injustice, champion causes they believe in, and to take action to make a difference. And so as you step out in the world, remember you have the power to shape the future, to rewrite the story. Congratulations, class of 2024. The world is yours for the taking. Thank you.
Oh, wasn't that inspiring? Let's hear it again for Rena. There you go, a fabulous role model for all of us. Okay, now I have the great honor of announcing some of our GLS incredible honors and awards. Now, I'm going to announce the awardees, and I ask you to remain standing. Well, let's do it by group. So I'll announce the first four, and please remain standing until I finish the first four. Okay? Everybody ready? With lots of applause here. Okay. So, our valedictorian, Jennifer Young. Our salutatorian, Ellen Wong. The winner of the Schwarzbach Global Impact Award, Stefan Mao. And the winner of the Community Leadership Award, Sarah Rizvi. Thank you, we appreciate that. You guys can sit down. Okay, now I'm going to go to the Thesis Award winners and honorable mentions, and I will announce them by concentration. And so please remain standing until I finish your concentration, okay? So, for Art Text Media, the best thesis, Ichazo Sanchez Gasser. The thesis advisor, Professor Lindsay Davies. And the ATM honorable mentions, Katie Steckety and Megan Steckety. Again, Professor Lindsay Davis, thesis director. Okay, thank you. Now we'll move to critical creative production. The CCC Best Thesis, Ron Mohammed. Thesis director, Professor Suzanne Menraj. CCP honorable mentions, okay, Ali Adnan. Director, Professor Suzanne Menraj, and Jennifer Young. Thesis Director, Professor Tim Tomlinson. Thank you all. Next, cultural and social identities. We have two winners of the CSI Best Thesis, Ejay Joshar and Alana Lohan. Thesis director for both, Professor Ifeona Fulani. Thank you. And now, law, ethics, history, and religion. The LEHR Best Thesis, Arabella Golovan. Thesis director, Professor Regina Grammer. And honorable mention, Layla Heitman. Thesis director, Professor Jim McBride. The next, politics, rights, you can sit down, politics, rights, and development. The PRD Best Thesis, Catherine Benolil. Director, Professor Joyce Apsel. And the PRD honorable mentions, Emma Grace, Director, Professor Ascension Mejorado, and Stefan Mao. Director, Professor Tal Coram. And Sustainability, Health, and the Environment. The Best She Thesis goes to Ellen Wong. And we have two honorable mentions. Jimena Coronado and Lucy Whitney. And all three of those, the thesis director is Professor Genia Naro Maciel. Okay, those of you probably in the families and friends who are here, and certainly classmates, know how tough it is to produce an original work, such as a thesis or a creative production. And so let's hear it again for all of us. And let's hear it for everyone who made it through that process. Woo! I wish we could give everyone an award. Okay, now we get to the fun part. So I call up here our Associate Dean of Academic Affairs, Adedamola Olshinolu, to present the candidates and their stoles and flowers. Are you going to give the instructions? Yeah, okay, great.
Good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to see our beautiful students and their lovely families. We, the professors, are very proud of you, but we know the families and friends are even prouder of you. So congratulations. Okay, so for the moment you've all been waiting for, we'll be calling the graduates to come to the stage. When you come to the stage, you will receive a GLS stole along with a purple rose. We know that you didn't get here by yourselves, so we want you to give that rose to someone who helped you along your journey, who made an impact on your life while you were in NYU. Tied to that purple rose, there's a postcard with a purple heart attached to it, and that heart can be planted because it's a seed. There's also a reminder on the postcard for you to wear your GLS stoles tomorrow when you come to the all-university commencement ceremony, at Yankee Stadium so that we can all see that you're part of GLS. As you proceed through the stage, there'll be a photo opportunity for you with Dean Mostov as you receive your items, and as well as another photo opportunity to the stage right as you leave the stage. My colleagues in advising and student affairs will help you line up as you enter the stage from the stage left. Please wait for directions from the staff on when you can start lining up. Okay, let's get started. Yes. Okay. Okay. Are you guys going first? Okay. Jennifer Yang. Pietro Ori. Ellen Wong. Gerald Briscoe. Sarah Liveston. Selena Patel. Dilba Hojamuratova. Alexis Elizabeth Dascanio. Maya Sarmiento. Corinne Latterman. Paige Anderson. Gabriela Ava Yazdekasti. Jessica Gonzalez Gahiola. Mercedes Garcia Kenny. Jennifer Ortiz. Valencia Medina. Ariana Lau. Georgia Brown. Jimena Coronado. Louisa Beibotien. Gabriela Lugo. Sasha Hunt. Zachary Miller. Ashley Han. August Bell Courier. Sophia Cosmides. Sarah Rizvi. Ethan Davis. Hannah Fowler. Lucy Whitney. Reagan Fenrick. Riley Halford. Mia Ventola. Katie Steckerty. Megan Steckerty. Ali Adnan. Sierra Leasing Bustos. Alana Lahon. Eje Joshua. Michael Thomas. William Joseph Krasner. Ichazo Sanchez Gosar. Jasmine Fu. Oluwatoni Eyitayo Sholarin. May Jusi Chow. Gabriel Vasconcelos. Emily Yi. Jaden Garcia. Catherine Benolil. Jackie Smith. Adia Burrows. Rond Mohammed. Rachel Saruzai Mashamanaka. Milana Walls. Mabel Takona. Hajar Abu Saif. Noah Walter. Angela Kong. Victoria Mong. Liz Prado Gonzalez. Palladio Levine. Emma Grace. Megan Simon. Aliona Uvarova. Lorena Wakeland Hart. Eleanor Gillis. Riley Coughlin. Layla Christine Heitman. Corey Terrell. Ben Zhu.
Please pronounce this. Lambert. Lambert one. This is wrong. Okay. Is it okay?
Lambert Wang. Trevor Yoon. Robbie Allen. Joseph McCain. Arabella Gullivan. Isabella Montoya. Theodora Canlick. Emma Tang. Cece Guan. Elise Caroline Atkinson. Kathleen Hunton Warren. Elizabeth Smith. Giselle Denise Pietras. Ramona Isabel Bonyang Chan. Shedlin Paul. Ariana Pejero. Lizette Sosedo. Emma Burstein. Carlos Ito. Aaron Karaburun. Okay, I think we have everyone. Congratulations.
Wow, that was fun. Let's hear it for everyone again. Woo! And now we'll hear the student address by Pietro Ori.
Thank you, Dean Mostov. And thank you to all the faculty and staff who made the last 4 years a reality for us graduates. And of course, the biggest thank you to all the parents and families in this room, and also those not present, for making this possible. I'm delighted to see everyone here today. It's a shame that it's under these circumstances, because it might be the last time we're all together, but it's delightful nonetheless. I've been so fortunate to get to know this class over the past 4 years. You've all taught me so much about myself, the world, and most importantly, each other. There's no group of people I would rather have embarked upon the odyssey of undergraduate life alongside, which is one of the reasons I find it difficult to be speaking here today. What could I say that would possibly speak to the voluminous experiences of so many exceptional individuals who admittedly studied completely different things in completely different places? What common thread weaves us together as the future leaders and thinkers of this world? I like to think of our time together not along a singular through line, but rather as a series of likewise and parallel experiences. I ask you all to reflect on my favorite for a moment, and if you want to have some fun, you can close your eyes and do it. I want everyone to imagine the feeling you have when a flight first touches down. Not the shaking of the plane or the dinging of the seatbelt sign, certainly not the awkward bag snatching and shuffling as everyone struggles to get off. No, no. I want you to imagine the moment you step off the jet bridge and take that first deep breath of air in a profoundly new place. You might be exhausted, starving, overdressed for where you're arriving or underdressed for where you were leaving. You might be looking at a 7 to 14-day EU quarantine, or even worse, the inexorably daunting prospect of moving into a global site dorm. But still, that first breath of air feels like the life-saving breath to someone desperately in need of resuscitation. You can open your eyes. I know it does for me, and I have more than a sneaking suspicion that it does for all of you as well. Every graduate in this room is united by something that cannot be stolen, borrowed, taught, or trained. We all have the soul of an adventurer within us. When given the chance to attend university in the world's most chaotic and mesmerizing metropolitan setting, we said no. That's not enough. When asked to choose a conveniently traditional major that appears in a LinkedIn drop-down menu, we scoffed in their faces. We are, at our core, a group of intrepid wayfarers who ask questions, challenge conventions, and most importantly, seek out new people, places, and ideas wherever we end up. And on our journeys, we've been fortunate enough to see some of the grandest beauty that our world has to offer. But lest we forget the lessons that we've learned along the way, the great injustices that pervade this world and just how closely they lie to us. For the second time in our short lives, a moment of celebration and accomplishment has coincided with global conflict and strife. These sordid realities are not novel to our personal moments, but they have twice now shifted into sharp focus as we've reached a milestone of graduation. A superstitious man might suggest that this is more than a coincidence, that much like the Cultural Revolution of the 60s and 70s, a great societal shift is centered upon our little generational niche here. With recognition of this sobering reality, it is easy to become cynical. Every day, we see students around the world less fortunate than us, whose classrooms are rubble and their degrees no more than ash. Students in Sudan, in Afghanistan, students in Ukraine, and of course, students in Palestine. In the face of the ceaseless injustices that make up their daily realities, we might look at our own good times past with weariness for the bleak future that awaits outside this hall. When this admittedly fair cynicism arises, I'm reminded of President Barack Obama's words on the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama, where 60 years ago, police violently attacked peaceful protesters standing up for what they believed in. Action requires that we shed our cynicism. For in the pursuit of justice, we can afford neither complacency nor despair. Just as adventure implies adversity, so too does it invite us to confront and overcome it. And if we do not rise to the challenge and stand up for what we know in our hearts to be true, then the past 4 years were merely an exercise in vanity. The last month has served as a reminder for how crucial our action really is, as has it reinforced one of the most important lessons of the past 4 years, consistent throughout dozens of lectures and seminars. Institutions surprise us by failing us. People surprise us by coming through for us. As we step across this stage into the next act of our lives, I ask you all to reflect on the times that you've counted on the people in this room, the moments when you've relied on them for companionship, for safety, for warmth, and for support, especially when our institutions have failed. It is these people that make adventure possible. It is these people that we can count on when the world feels hopeless. It is these people that we can continue to look to for guidance, for courage, as a reminder of who we are and what we may yet become. For a final inspiration, I'll point to the patron saint of adventurers everywhere, the one and only J.R.R. Tolkien. When his hero wishes that times of darkness and despair had not emerged during their life, the ever-wise Gandalf replies, "So do I, and so do all who have lived through such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us." I could not be prouder to count myself among you all. Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2024.
Thank you, Pietro. So with all that inspiration, let's also remember, as he put it, to thank all of the people who have given you support along the way, be it family or friends, colleagues, teachers, advisors. Let's hear it for all of them. Congratulations to everyone. I wish you all the best as you move forward and look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow. Don't forget to wave at me when I walk by. All of you tomorrow at Yankee Stadium. Thank you so much and congratulations.
Okay, we have reached the end of the GLS Baccalaureate ceremony, but at the end of the ceremony, we have a formal recessional. The recessional this year, we took a vote with students, and students will be leaving the auditorium to the song Soulful Strut. So this was a student-nominated and student-voted choice. So we will first have the faculty and the platform party leave this way and process up, and then we will have the students called by row, and you will recess out of the auditorium. We ask that all audience members remain seated. The students will be marching out and crossing the street to Washington Square Park, where one of our now revered traditions is the March Through the Arch. We have all GLS graduates march through Washington Square Arch, and then we take a large class photo. So again, we will ask all audience members to remain here while we get the students out to the arch for the group photograph, and then you can join your graduates in Washington Square Parks to continue the celebration. Thank you, and we'll start with the faculty recessional.